Welcome back to more of the Straight Shot Podcast, and today we're going to be talking about the 2024 TNA Slammiversary main event, the six-way elimination match for the TNA World Championship. And yes, in this match we will be having some spoilers involved, including a shocking heel turn and the new champion being crowned. So if you guys have not seen Slammiversary yet, do not watch this video. But if you have seen Slammiversary, then this is the place for you to be to know a lot of stuff from TNA, WWE, and All Elite Wrestling. But here's the thing, today we're just going to be focusing on TNA. We haven't really done a TNA video in a little while. So, why not? Let's have some fun with it. But here's the thing, if you guys like this video, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Yeah, we're fucking cooking. So, in the main event of Slammiversary, it was a six-way elimination match for the TNA World Championship. You have Josh Alexander, Frankie Kazarian, the TNA World Champion, going into the match. Moose, Nic Nemeth, Joe Hendry, and Steve Maclin. Okay. So Moose was looking at a 16.6% chance of retaining if it was just a one fall to a finish match. But going into the match, actually, Moose was the odds-on favorite to retain the world title at minus 500. Joe Hendry was his next closest. Joe Hendry was the next closest. The top three were Josh Alexander, Joe Hendry, and Moose. And that was going into the match. But how did the elimination match play out? Well, when I was making my little predictions, I knew Maclin, Kazarian, I said Maclin, Kazarian, or Nemeth was not going to win. I was part right and part wrong. I'm only going to say that because I said Maclin was not winning, I said Kaz was not winning. I got both right. But we'll talk about the third one in a bit. So, let's go through the eliminations first, shall we? So, Maclin is going for the KIA on Frankie Kazarian, and Moose catches him with a spear, and this is to Maclin. Maclin's out for Moose. So I'm like, okay, Maclin's out first. Okay, I mean, they weren't gonna do anything with him for with the title for a little while, or maybe they won't even put it back on him in general for the time being. So I'm thinking, okay, Maclin's out first. This is what we needed. Okay. So, we're starting to cook in this match. This was almost 11 minutes in. So, we didn't get our first elimination until just about the 11-minute mark. So, I'm thinking to myself, imagine they go on a certain chain that I think they will go on. Well, my worst fear came to life. But here's the thing. Moose did score the first elimination. And in a sort of way, Maclin did end up hitting the KIA on Frankie. Next elimination will shock you a lot to know it was the then TNA World Champion Moose who was actually eliminated by the guy that a lot of people wanted to win the title, Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry eliminating Moose, giving us the biggest shock of Slammiversary and one of the biggest moments in TNA in recent memory. I say recent memory, okay? Because the only other good one in recent memory were the Hardy Boys. We're not going to count Nemeth because that was over 6 months ago. We're going back like 3 months or so. We're going to go back to like 3 months. So you're looking at the Hardys returning to TNA, Tatum Paxley crossing the line to come to TNA, Izzy Dame crossing the line, the Rascals crossing the line. We're talking all that. So, Hendry's out. Hendry gets Moose out after a standing ovation, his finishing maneuver. So we're guaranteed a new world champion. So I'm thinking, okay, so they're going to capitalize and put it on Joe Hendry. So we're still down to Josh Alexander, Frankie Kazarian, Nic Nemeth, and Joe Hendry at this point in time. Well, Well, Josh Alexander, welcome to the party. And welcome back to being a heel. Josh Alexander turning heel on Joe Hendry. So it makes me think we're actually setting up for a Josh Alexander-Joe Hendry feud, and I think we get the match at Emergence. I think we get Josh Alexander-Joe Hendry at Emergence. But here's the thing, Josh Alexander playing the role of a heel now. And I think this is a great move because TNA needs more top heels. You can't just have Moose, Myers, and Eddie Edwards be the top heels for the men. You need more. Josh Alexander is a perfect man to have you fill that role. Kaz is slowly going back to being a babyface. Steve Maclin, slowly going back to being babyface. So having Josh Alexander become a new top heel in the company, I think this is a great move. TNA desperately fucking needs one. Great move by Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander straight up kick to the nuts of Joe Hendry, setting it, and then he gets a C4 spike, eliminating Joe Hendry. So our chain is still true, by the way. The person who scored the prior elimination is the one that goes out next. So Moose scored first, he was out next. Joe Hendry scored next, he's out. Alexander scores, we are down to 3. Nemeth, Kazarian, Alexander. This is where I think, obviously, this is what I'm starting to think. Whoever eliminates Josh is the next one out. Because then, maybe it's the chain complete. But it turns out, it's Nic Nemeth getting the elimination on Josh Alexander with a super kick. A super kick, pinning Josh Alexander. I mean, mind you, it was like almost 29 minutes into the match, so I can't blame Josh for just going down after that. But here's the thing, Nemeth scores the elimination, Alexander's out, the crowd happy to know Josh Alexander is out. But, the last elimination, so we're down to Kazarian and Nemeth now. So either Kazarian finishes his story or Nemeth does what he could not do at Rebellion. For those that are wondering, yes, it was Moose versus Nic Nemeth at Rebellion for the World Championship. Moose ended up retaining that night. For those that are wondering, that was when we had the lights out tease of Matt Hardy returning. They had the match against All Odds. I don't know why they didn't do it at Slammiversary. That's what cooking me a little bit. But they had the match. It's actually kind of fire. I'll give it that. And yeah, Moose ended up retaining that night. But here's the thing, we finally got the result that we were somewhat looking for, and that is because Nic Nemeth is now the new TNA World Champion. Yes, I said yes. Your eyes do not deceive you. Nic Nemeth is now the TNA World Champion. He last pinned Frankie Kazarian. He scored the last 2 eliminations in the match. Frankie Kazarian, who got super kicked in through a table off the stage, comes in, tries to steal it. This was just after eliminating Josh Alexander. Tries to steal the victory, win the title off a fade to black pile driver. And honestly, shout out to Nic Nemeth from that match. He did well. He played his spots well. I mean, so did Kaz. But I want to say this. Shout out to both Nemeth and Kaz. They played their spots well. Shout out to Josh for finally becoming a heel for the first time in over 4 years. Almost 4 years he's been a heel. So shout out to Josh there. Hell of a reign by Moose. He won the title from Shelly Hard to Kill. He defeated Shelly at No Surrender. Young at Sacrifice. Nemeth at Rebellion. He was in a 6-man Under Siege, so he didn't defend. And then he defended against Broken Matt Hardy's ass. And then this was his last title defense of his reign. So, fair play. Good shit from Moose. People were pissed because Joe Hendry did not win the title. A lot of people were taking Hendry to win. I was one of them too. But Nemeth winning the title. How good of a decision do you guys think TNA made? I think they failed on this opportunity. They had something going with Joe Hendry. I think they failed to capitalize on this. But a way I see. I think we get something new. We could end up getting Josh Alexander, Nic Nemeth for the world title at Bound for Glory. Because here's the thing: if you want heels to challenge for the title, something you could go at Bound for Glory, which is gonna be in October. You're maybe looking at Josh and Nick for the world title. Could go Frankie and Nick for the world title. See, now that I know it's a babyface going into Bound for Glory as champion, I'm not going to run Joe Hendry. I could see them running Joe Hendry if the heel wins at Bound for Glory. So if Nemeth loses at Bound for Glory, he loses it to either Alexander or Kazarian. I think they run... Here's the thing. I actually think it should be Alexander. Maybe. I'm starting to think more Josh for the world title. Because if they want a good top heel to win the title, I think Josh is your way to go. I think Kaz maybe gets a shot in during the reign. Kaz definitely gets a shot during the reign. But here's the thing. We'll have to see where this reign goes for Nic Nemeth. Also, I want to say that if they actually do end up putting the title on Josh Alexander, I think they need to take it off of him with Joe Hendry. I think that's where you have Joe Hendry come into play, maybe. But that's in the future. Obviously, we're focusing on what happened at Slammiversary. But here's the thing. If you want to set up for the future and you want a top heel to take it, I'm going to say Josh Alexander. That's your best bet to go. But here's the thing. New world champion coming out of this match. A lot of new champions coming out of Slammiversary. And believe me when I say that, Slammiversary was cooking. And believe me, the main event was fucking nice. Like, it gave us some good moments. It gave us a awesome heel turn, which is going to lead to a good feud. It's going to lead to a feud. But here's the question. Who do you think Nemeth's first pay-per-view challenger will be? Will it be someone that was in the six-way? Or will it be someone that you've seen in a different Slammiversary match? But here's the thing. That is going to be it for the Straight Shot Podcast. I have been McVey. You guys are awesome. Like this video. Subscribe to our channel. We will see you in our next video. Peace out.